What's up, YouTube? So today I'm super excited to showcase my latest acquisition, this 1991 Volvo 740. It has a B230F 8-valve non-interference engine. I picked this car up for $200 in St. Louis, and included with the purchase price was a free tow, so I couldn't say no. So long story short, I've already kind of done some stuff here. I took some videos earlier I'm going to upload to the rest of this video, but basically stage one of getting this car more or less tested is putting a good battery in it. The battery in it was old and just dried, no charge. So replace the battery. Walmart sells a pretty economical version of a battery. I put an H6 in here. It was 69 plus tax. And then after that, I did check the coolant. It does have a coolant leak somewhere. I believe the radiator's seeping just a little bit. It's not dumping the coolant out, but it's definitely something I'll have to get to at some point. But I checked the coolant. It was low, added a gallon and a half. Oil's on the full mark, so I left that alone. And yeah, and then of course the other issue with this $200 Volvo is the back glass is out. And I got a quote from Safe Light Auto or whatever the company is, and they quoted me like 250 or some change like that. So once I get everything else kind of good to go, I'm gonna get that replaced. But let's go ahead and go around the car, do a tour of the exterior, and then from there we'll go into the interior. Starting at the front, you can see that the hood is a little rusted, but I kind of prefer that. This is going to be more or less a winter beater, so not a really big deal. The hood's pushed in just a little bit from a previous accident, but they fixed it at some point, and they did an okay job on it. As far as the paint's concerned, it's really, wore out. And then, of course, down here at the fender, we've got quite a bit of rust, but looking underneath the body of the car, it's not too bad, so I'll leave it alone. Driver's side mirror needs to be replaced. I do have the assembly in the car, so at some point I'll get that. And yeah, overall, it's not too bad. It had this tarp on it because the back glass was out of the car. So I basically MacGyvered this up just as a short-term solution to keep the rain out. But yeah, these tags are from 2020. So this car hasn't really been driven much since 2020. There was some issues with it that the seller didn't want to deal with. So that's kind of where I came in. So we're gonna leave this hatch shut because I have it taped up. But yeah, otherwise it's not too bad for a 1990. This side looks a little bit better. Obviously we've got some seal issues here with the windshield on the side, but overall it's in pretty good shape. These front tires here are definitely going to get these replaced because as you can see here, they're really old and dry rotted. And of course, driving around the block putting gas in it wasn't a big deal, but for long term, definitely going to have to put some wheels or some tires on it because you can see that the actual rubber's splitting. These are really old. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop into the inside and I'll show you the interior. All right, so hopping right in here, we have a cluster showing 211,000 miles. Now it's broken, the speedometer doesn't work. It does have a radio, nice little aftermarket unit, but it doesn't really play loud. Looks like it's just been sitting for a while. Interior needs a good detail. But as you can see here, it's got a lot of room. Headliner sagging. It does have a sunroof. I haven't tested it yet, but it is a manual one, so I am a big fan of that. So yeah, we got a lot of cleaning to do in this bad boy. So, with all this being said, let's go ahead and hop into the engine bay and I'll show you around there as well. The history on this car was the engine was swapped at some point. It was swapped in 2020 with receipts, so that is confirmed. There is a little bit of a coolant leak down here. It looks like the side of the radiator is a little moist, so it's very possible that the plastics are cracking or one of these fittings are loose. It was pretty low in coolant there, but as far as like everything else is concerned, it's pretty good. Motor mounts are probably new-ish. They don't look too terrible, but I'm going to replace those at some point. And I believe there is an exhaust manifold gasket leak there. Very common on these old Volvos, but for a $200 car, I'm not going to complain. I'll do a timing belt inspection later, but there's the battery that I purchased at Walmart. I have it disconnected right now because I'm not sure if it has a parasitic drain or not, or if the alternator is charging. I'm going to test that later. But yeah, it has oil in it. I checked the oil, it's full. But of course, with the age of the oil, I'm going to change that at some point. But overall, very happy with this engine. All right, we're gonna do a crank here. I haven't started this thing ever, so let's see what happens. Oh, it's got gas in it. Anytime I give it gas, it wants to stall out, but check engine lights on. Could be something to do with the wiring. We'll let it idle for a minute. All right, let's see if it'll keep running. There we go. It had a little bit of a stutter. Interesting. Will it go into gear? It goes into gear, all right. Maybe it needs some fresh gas. Let's see if it'll drive. Oh, wow. Yeah, it drives. The brakes suck. Oh, there we go. I just think this needs to be driven a little bit. So it seems to drive okay. It definitely has an exhaust leak, so I'm gonna leave the windows open. And it doesn't like to start, so I'm gonna leave it running, keep it running, get some gas in it, and go from there. But I think this is definitely a good start to the project. The brakes suck, the brake light's on, check engine light's on, but I'm sure we can read those codes here in a little bit. Let's see if it starts now. It's getting a little better. And there you have it, folks. This car runs, drives, stops, moves on its own weight, put gas in it. So looking forward to taking my time with this one and sourcing parts that it needs, and of course doing all the maintenance. It looks like a lot of it's already been done. It has a newer starter in it and all that stuff. So be sure to like and subscribe, and you will be seeing updates probably within the next month or two. You know, this isn't really a big priority. I got other stuff I got going on with the Mercedes, but you know, with this car, you know, for 200 bucks, can't complain. I know I keep saying that, but it's a good price in this market. And with this engine, it's pretty bulletproof. And I've dealt with a lot of Volvos in my days. I've had multiple 240s. I've probably had 3 or 4 of those. I've had a 740 sedan. I think I had a 740 wagon. Yeah, I did have a 740 wagon. It was a turbocharged 740. But what was interesting about that one was it was a Regina fuel system, and somebody modified it to have a turbo, even though technically the Regina fuel system isn't too friendly with a turbo setup. It's a long story there, but yeah, long story short, I'm looking forward to getting into this a little bit more. But again, like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.